Welcome back, family and friends, to another episode of Realtor Connect. I'm filling in today for a wonderful man that puts this together every week, Mike Wright with Edge Home Finance. My name's Brady Holland. I'm with the Tyler Miller team in eXp Realty. And by my side, I have one of my mentees and a killer starting the industry at the age of 20. Jack, you say your last name.
Lilleodden.
Wouldn't have got that. Welcome on, sir. Congratulations on being Realtor of the Week. How does it feel?
Feels pretty good, actually.
Realtor of the Week without even being licensed yet?
I guess.
That's just how we're going to start this off. So, Jack, tell everybody just a little bit about yourself, kind of where you grew up. What got you into this whole real estate thing in the first place?
So I am originally from Rogers, Minnesota, and I started, I guess I went to college for a year and a half at the University.
Beat me.
At the University of Northern Iowa, and I did go and study for real estate to get a business degree. And just wasn't really learning much about real estate. College just wasn't really my thing, so I decided to drop out and kind of just knew that real estate was my thing and started reaching out to people who I knew that were in the industry. Reached out to someone on the Tyler Miller team and told me about it, got me interested, and here I am, I guess.
Yeah. So you went to college for real estate. What does that curriculum look like? What are you learning?
Yeah, so it's just like, I would say, a standard business degree, just like the basics, and a lot of the classes we had to take for that degree were just like business related. So it was a lot of like, I don't really even know what classes they had to support for real estate other than the business classes that I did take.
Really? So do you think they were talking about cold calling and negotiating? You think if you would have stayed into that degree a little bit longer, it would have went that way? Or
I could have. I just don't think it would have.
I think you made a smart decision on kind of making a transfer from college into a real estate agent. I did it. A lot of our team members have done it, and it's paid off quite well for most of us. So you kind of joined the team, kind of joined in a weird time.
Yep.
You talked to Max Menny, who is also on our team. That's kind of who got you connected with Tyler and myself. And how were those conversations, and how did you know like this team was the right team for you?
So actually, I met with the person who runs Thasden Realty, Andy, and with him first, I should say, before I met with Max. And he kind of just gave me the whole rundown of what real estate is and what it all entails and blah, blah, blah. But then he also had mentioned that he personally wouldn't get into it now. Being me, if he was me, he wouldn't have got into it now, and he'd wait and maybe find a job related to it and then get into it later in life, because he's seen a lot of people that are my age not succeed.
Yeah.
And so it kind of turned me off a little bit on that whole idea. I knew real estate was still something I wanted to do, but it's just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So then I met with Max, and his whole thing was complete opposite of Andy's. And then it was also him acknowledging, because Andy's whole thing was like, you're young, you're not going to have the support and like guidance and all this stuff, and you could screw yourself up if you start now and whatever. And Max had said that he started at Edina Realty and that he was going through all the steps that Andy was telling me he was, and then he found Tyler, made the switch, and said all the great things about Tyler's team compared to that. And I was just like, this is exactly what I needed to hear, and just went from there.
So when you say like, he was saying that you're going to be young, you don't have support, like you're going to be unknowledgeable, people aren't going to trust you. How do you now feel like that's not the case? What are you doing now to kind of stand out, to show people that like, I might be 20, but I know what I'm doing, I have the support behind me, and I'm going to get you the best deal possible?
Well, I mean, just that in general, I feel like just knowing that it's not all about just like what you don't need to know every little detail. But yeah, I mean, just showing my clients like, hey, I know what I'm doing. And two, if I don't know what I'm doing in a certain situation because it's the first time it's came up, like I have a whole team behind me to support me. And like just pretty much saying that exact spiel to my clients or just like that conversation, communicating that with them and saying like, even though, or just communicating that I still know what I'm doing is gonna easily just cut that factor out.
Yeah, and you've kind of surrounded yourself around the real estate community for about a month now, right?
Yeah.
What are kind of some of your big takeaways that you've really kind of taken this far, a month in, and really want to implement into your business once you are licensed and just hit the ground running?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I feel like there's a lot of parts to it. I would say that just like seeing everyone's like mindset and their way that they run their business has been just a huge eye opener. Just like even what that entails and all the parts about it. But I would say just like it's all about what works for you. I think, and so that's my biggest thing now is I'm just trying to figure out what I'm strong at and what will point me out, I guess.
For sure. What so far has been some of those strong things that you've noticed that you're like, well, I'm going to be good at social media, I'm going to be good at open houses? Like, what are some of those bigger like lead gen sources that you're really going to be focusing on once you do your license?
Yeah. So I've worked at a restaurant, I don't know, Maynard's and Rogers since I've been 15. And I worked in the kitchen for about 3 years, but then once I turned 18, I started serving. And I mean, a ton of people there, like I've created great relationships with. So, and it's, I mean, all different types of people from our regulars to just like people that aren't as close, but just enjoyed me as their server or whatever. And I've created so many like good connections that way. Like I didn't have a Facebook really at all before I started, and now I created a Facebook and almost have like 250 followers just for like that specifically. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I think my main goal and what's been working for me is just using my sphere and using the people I know and just getting my name out that way.
No, I love that. You talked about like just creating relationships, as a server. How do you think that's going to help you in the real estate industry?
Well, I think that also, I mean, it's all about relationships, right? So I think that's just gave me more time to prepare myself and realize what works for creating relationships and what doesn't, and what gets people to like you and what doesn't, and all those things. So I think that's just working in the industry myself before this, I think just helped me get that mindset or get that capability to conversate with people and create those relationships.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. What other things, kind of big takeaways? You said there's a lot of them. There's a lot of people that run their business differently on our team.
Yep.
Who, maybe what are some of those things that you're trying to mimic now in your business? Yeah,
definitely gonna try to mimic that a lot of the people on the team have their like business side and their personal side and balancing that. And you can definitely tell the people who are more business side and people who are more like personal side. And so I think I definitely want to get a good medium, and I've decided I think like a medium would be what I'd prefer instead of being all business or all personal. So yeah, I guess just trying to figure out how people, I mean, I guess I've seen it a little bit, but just trying to keep it that business, but not too business where it's like jumping out at you.
Yeah, you're really looking for that like good work-life balance type of life. Have you really thought deeply about it and how you're going to manage that at all, or?
I have not, and I've been kind of just not really focusing on my personal life aspect of it, I feel like. More so just because I don't have my license yet, so I'm getting that, and so that's taken up a lot of my personal time. But I mean, I'd say, I gotta just figure it out. I just wait it out and see what works and what doesn't.
Well, let's talk about that. You're not even licensed, and you have one contract. You're under contract with one of your buyers. The way you did it, right? I'm your mentor. Everything's in my name, but it was generated from you. I'm kind of doing all the back end work, but you're right there, and I'm showing you exactly what's going on so you can learn from it. But that's incredible. Some people don't get their first deal for 6 months into the industry, and you're doing it before you're even licensed. How did this come to be?
So I, like I said, I get my name around, or not necessarily my name, but people know me and I talk. So a lot of people knew I was getting into the business. And one of my dad's buddies had been looking at a townhouse for a while for his daughter, and I guess he had picked one out like a week before, or like figured out where they were going to go like a week before. I had reached out to him, and then I had reached out to him, and we met, and I was just, it's a new build, so he was going to be paying out a buyer side already. So I just kind of talked him into, instead of paying who knows who, pay me. So
yeah, that's awesome. No, it was really cool to kind of see that all come together before you're even licensed. Having people trust you and trust not only you, but the team you picked and the support that you got. And it's been pretty awesome to be able to help you there.
Yeah.
Get your first deal done. But you're going through the classes right now.
Yep.
You're coming up on some tests, hopefully. What's your goal to be licensed by?
Well, my goal was to hopefully have everything done, or so much worth waiting for everything to get processed within by the end of this weekend.
Okay.
But we just came into a little bit of a minor inconvenience, so it might be another extra week. But other than that, hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What's going to be some things you're going to focus on as soon as you get licensed?
Definitely focusing on the lead generation sources, because I just don't really know how much to or even really how well to work everything yet. So I think just focusing on that will, one, get me better at working on those sites, but also just getting me to used to communicating with people, and getting that script down and just creating those conversations.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're just getting licensed now. Where do you see yourself 2 to 5 years from now?
I hope to see myself selling over 20 houses a year in 3 to 5 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great goal, Jack.
Yeah.
I think you got it. You just stay committed at it like you have been, and just keep doing your thing. With that, what would you tell someone that's thinking about getting into the industry? What's some advice you might have from them? Even though you're not fully into it yet, you're still new as well, but someone that's thinking about it, what would you tell them after you've been in it for about a month now?
Yeah, I would definitely make sure that real estate's what they want, because you got to work for it. And if you don't have that drive or don't have that push, you're never going to be able to succeed in real estate. But other than that, I'd say just find the right group of people to be around. If you aren't surrounded by people that are going to push you and educate you and just be able to support you through the process, it's going to be super hard to succeed. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that has helped me succeed so far, is just having that environment to be around.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Jack, you're brand new into it. Hopefully getting licensed here in the next couple of weeks. Good luck on your tests.
Appreciate it.
Best of luck on the industry. And where can people find you? Follow you? Where can they get you at?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. My email is jack@tylermillerteam.com.
Yes.
And feel free to reach out. Just have a friendly conversation or something.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm sure some people would love to learn how you did it.
Yeah.
Just getting into it and getting a deal done. So just creating relationships just like you're supposed to. So congrats, man. Congrats on being Realtor of the Week, and
appreciate it.
We'll see everybody else later and see you next week.